pretty good. Good enough. Okay. All right. So we're back. Welcome to the 11 o'clock hour, the 11:08 hour, 11:09 hour. So so it looks like we have a few people joining us who weren't here before. So again, my name is Mark. I'm one of the students here. I've been coming here for 10 years, I think. There's a group of us that will lead on the Sunday hour. We also have, at the 9:30 hour, we have our yoga team, our yoga warriors, and on the first Sunday of each month we have the 10:30 like mini lecture or talk series, usually led by our founders, Ann and Harvey, who both send their condolences they could not be here. We just finished the first Sunday talk. There's a book that is going around, this dark red-brown book, for any names. This is like our prayer book. If there's anyone, yourself, other people, other animals, beings that you want to share today's merit, energy, goodness, good vibes, we'll read those names at the end as we kind of close. So we come here at the 11 o'clock hour to practice a simple, profound, and foundational practice of mindfulness that our guiding teacher, Adzom Pelo Rinpoche, who is one of our teachers in Tibet. And Harvey asked, is there a practice that we can share with the community, regardless of if they've been practicing for 20 years, if they have never heard of Buddhism, and they are looking to improve their life, and they just walk in the door for the first time? What would be something that would be meaningful and beneficial? And so this is the practice that he offered us, and we've been using for years now for the 11 o'clock hour, with slight variety between each of our guiders. So, a few elements of, the ideas is that some foundation within meditation. There's two main kind of threads of practice of mindfulness practice in traditional Buddhism. One is the stability of mind. Is the idea that we want to have some sort of calm and flexibility of mind, essentially, rather than letting our mind kind of flick about here and there like a candle in the wind. Can't do much with a candle. You can't really see very well with a candle flickering in the wind. It doesn't do a lot. The nice thing about that is a little bit of calmness of mind. We're a little less sucked into our normal habits, our normal emotional reactions. And so in the moment and for the rest of the day and for the rest of the week, even to a degree, there's a little bit of freedom. And there's a little bit of peace and there's a little bit of happiness that comes along with it. And it's something that is, that you can easily take with you. You don't have to just be mindful of the breath. You can be mindful of anything, more or less. And then part of it too is to develop some wisdom. And the idea is to get to know what, in a traditional way, you could say things that it's useful to get accustomed with is to get accustomed with the flow of things, to get accustomed with how transitory things are, how much we take things that, at assumption, that we just kind of run with assumptions. There's traditional, philosophical things like, that's a vase. Well, a vase is made of little bits of glass and particles, and we assume it's going to never break, and it's also based on, putting together some visual components. It's based on our own past experiences. It's not really, it's a different thing to see something as opposed to just running with it. So we want to get a sense of getting experience of our own selves, how transitory, how one thing leads to another within ourselves. And that's something that as we slow down, as we deal with especially distraction and how we react to distraction, because that's something that's going to happen. We're all going to get distracted, guaranteed. If you don't get distracted next hour, please come up and tell me how the hell you did it, because I would love to know. And so one way is as we develop that calm, and especially when we're distracted, we'll be confronted with our habit of what it's like to get distracted. Mine is you're a bad person. You got distracted. You got to try harder. And so then there's a little bit of tenseness and so there's a thought that will come up. Then there will be some sort of mental effort that will come up. Then there might be some physical sensations in the body. There may be me, shaking a little bit, and so there's a whole pattern, as opposed to when you just kind of assume it's one way, as opposed to seeing it come and then being able to let it go by itself. A little bit like a Chinese finger trap. You don't need to destroy it. You don't need to replace it with something else. So those are things that can come up with meditation. They don't have to. In this hour, if the best thing that comes out of it is you are not distracted for 10 seconds, that is a blessing. It is a beautiful thing to have 10 seconds of a relatively calm mind. Is anyone here for the very first time? Awesome. Welcome. Have you guys had some exposure with meditation before? Okay, great. So another point of reassurance. You can there are definitely more obsessive compulsive kind of ends in neurotic or organized parts of any religion, and everything has numbers and stages, and there are 9 stages in calm abiding meditation. The first stage is described like a ripping roar, like a ripping current, like a roaring current, that no matter how hard you try to get your mind to calm down, it doesn't happen. Regardless how little or how much you try, it's just a constant flow. Some days that's like that even for those who've been here for 10 years, it happens. So if today your mind isn't at no point calm and you're going back every 10 seconds, that's okay. It happens. And so you can use that as a chance to see how you treat yourself and what it's like to be distracted and how you respond to yourself. Anyway, well, that's my spiel. So let's get down to business. So we will go through 2 different types. We'll fluctuate between 2 different kind of movements of our practice today. Both are going to be sitting, so we want to be relatively calm. We want to be stable, and that we don't want to be just having to move all the time. So we want to be comfortable and stable. So if you're sitting, the idea is, if you're in a chair, if you can not have your back against the back, that's good. It's good to have a little energy in your posture. But if you need your back on the back, I won't tell anyone. We want to have our legs stable. So if we're sitting, if you can cross your legs in a comfortable way, that's good. You want to have your hands somehow comfortable if they're on your knees or on your thighs, or if you have them folded in your lap. Something that's comfortable and stable. We don't need to beat ourselves up over our back, but generally we want it kind of. The ideal thing is to have it kind of like curved, but more or less straight. So kind of the natural curve where it curves out a little bit and back a little bit, then up again. We want to have, if we can just use a little bit, as little of our muscles as possible. We want to use as little of our muscles as possible to keep a straight back. We want to use those long-term muscles that aren't efforting all the time. We can help our back be comfortable and straight we can either think of it as just a little bit. Tuck your chin in just a little bit. You can just push back like half an inch. Or you can imagine like a string kind of lifting up from the top of your head, kind of pulling up a little bit. Gives a little energy. It doesn't require a lot of effort. Usually we keep our eyes a little open. Doesn't have to be bug-eyed, but open a little bit. Staring off 5 or 6 feet in front, not looking at anything in particular. But if you feel very distracted, very shaken up, you can keep them closed if that's better for you. We're not here to control anything, to get rid of anything in particular. We use this posture as just a way to create like a frame and a stability. We want to be kind to ourselves, but also stable. And likewise, we're not looking to make our breath any one particular way, but we're using it as our base to practice resting our mind and for exploring ourself. It's a gate between the body, our emotions, our mind. All of the above change the breath, and the breath can change all of them as well. So for the first 5 or so minutes, we're going to settle into feeling our breath. Before we settle into one particular place, just get a sense of your whole body right now breathing. Almost like a checklist, you can note certain things going on in your breath, in your body. Feel movement, temperature, pressure. You feel pain. You may feel something pleasant. We want to practice and feel a more open and receptive type of awareness. So I invite you to move a little lower into where you feel your breath. Maybe down into the bottom of your ribs. And if it's not too subtle, maybe even feel down how your breath moves your belly, even below your belly button. It's very subtle. It's very down there. Not as much movement. See if you can rest your attention kind of lower down in you as you breathe. If you find yourself holding on to it, like it's a pinpoint, invite yourself to loosen, let go of that. Just be curious about the raw sensations that come, that go. Before I stop talking, a word of advice on distraction. When you find yourself distracted by a thought, by a sound, by another feeling, just acknowledge it. Just say, well, that was a thought, or that was a feeling. Usually we make wonderful stories about our thoughts and our feelings, and we go off and off and off. And all of a sudden we're kind of nowhere. We're not in our body. So when that happens, just say, well, I was distracted by a thought or a feeling. Just say that. It'll kind of fade, and then you go back. You might do that 1,000,000 times, or only a few times. So now for about 5 or so minutes, I'll be quiet here so we can all rest, following our breath. Now we will chant the sound home together at your own pace. We want to apply that kind of resting awareness with the sound. You might experience what it's like to intend to make a sound, to think you're making a sound, hearing the sound, feeling it reverberating in your body. And see if you can rest as you make the home. Home, And as that energy fades, you can go back, rest your attention down into your breath. Watching the raw sensations, the coming, the going. And as you find yourself distracted, acknowledge it. No need to hide it or destroy it. Acknowledge it, but don't indulge and let it fade on its own. Om Ho. Om Ho. Before we pause, before we wrap up, take a moment to check in into your body, into your mind. See how you feel now compared to before we started. It's good just to be aware how you're affected in any which way. And take a moment to remember what it was that brought you here today. Was there some hope or some aspiration that you had for what would come of today? And just leave a little space now to honor that. So we have a little refreshment, and we like to partake as a community, so we're not totally wrapped up yet. If you need to step out, of course you can. We've got restrooms down the hallway, some refreshments, snacks, and water. We'll come back in about, I'll say 5 minutes, but no later than 10 minutes, and we'll wrap up very briefly at the end. Okay.
Dawn Mountain offers traditional Buddhist teachings primarily in the Tibetan tradition in a way that is accessible to contemporary Americans. Having studied and practiced for many years under recognized Tibetan masters, and understanding that these teachings provide a way to realize the natural state of mind that embodies profound wisdom and deep love, Anne Klein and Harvey Aronson wished to share these traditions here in the United States. As a result, they established Dawn Mountain in June 1996, based on the core belief that it is possible to cultivate a better understanding of our deepest nature, which in turn facilitates new levels of mental calm and self-acceptance.
So our inspiration really comes from our love and gratitude to our own teachers. They spent so much time and care with us over many, many years.
Khetsen Rinpoche was extraordinarily compassionate. He had a terrific sense of humor. And just his ability to be present and immediate and just there. Adzon Rinpoche is extraordinarily compassionate and grounded.
And we've had extraordinary experiences with Adzon Rinpoche, whom I met in Tibet in 96. And I've had many hours of just, one-on-one conversation, a person who has tens of thousands of students to attend to. Okay, there's this wealth of cultural wisdom in Tibet. It's encoded in texts, in practices, in rituals, in art, and many people in the West are attracted to it, and yet Westerners are Westerners. We're Westerners. We're not monastics. We may dedicate our lives to practice in our heart of hearts, but we have families, we have jobs, we have all kinds of responsibilities. So how can we communicate and really experience transformation through these practices? For that, some kind of bridging is necessary. We're also a community center, nonprofit community center, which is the hub of our work extending life skills, the life skills of cultivating calm, of cultivating ease in life, of cultivating kindness.
What did you do today that you liked?
Make the glittery thing to show your anger.
And what happened when you shook up the glittery thing?
It made me feel a little bit like I wanted to meditate in peace.
And then the Research Institute is where we look at what we can provide by way of information gained through research for the interested public. So we've mentioned that our own teachings here, which are drawn from work that we've done, our own translation work, our own study, and so forth, some of these will start appearing as pamphlets for practitioners here, and some of them will become books that will be published and will be widely available to the larger public. And I am right now in the process of gathering a team to translate a text from this tradition, which he powerfully feels, and which I also have a very, very strong wish to see translated. And we hope to do more of that. We've seen people telling us how their lives have changed, how their lives are improved, the comfort, the inspiration that they feel coming to Dawn Mountain. We really are inspired to envision a way that Dawn Mountain becomes a stable beacon and place of gathering for people who wish to practice at whatever level.
I trust the teachings. I feel in the place. I feel that I am constantly fed.
And I can feel my breathing better because of the way my legs are positioned.
How long have you been sitting like that?
I learned it when I started coming here.
And it's not only been in the spiritual sense, but also in every aspect of my daily life. I feel that I'm less stressed out. I don't get as angry or as depressed as I used to.
It's good. It teaches me how to kind of relax and be mindful and help with school and stuff like that whenever I get aggravated.
One of our projects that has come to partial fruition is that we have developed a curriculum, which is posted on our website, that explains the open matrix of what a spiritual path can be, supported here at Dawn Mountain.
We've slowly become aware of the power of the media, and it is clear now that there is great interest in both our broadcasts from here, and from time to time we might be able to have broadcasts from Asia with Adzom Rinpoche or his sister Anila. Without students there are no teachers, and without teachers there are no students. We all dependently create one another. So we're very, very excited by the energy that is in the community. The community is alive, it is supportive, it is growing, and it really wishes to thrive, and we want to participate in that thriving in every way that we can. But we're really talking about finding a space of shared values. And if individuals share the values that we have in terms of coming to a deep appreciation of our innermost nature, then come and participate. That's the most significant thing that we can do together. Just sharing our participation is lovely and meaningful. And anything above and beyond that, by way of offering service for this community, offering financial, flows naturally. And we expect that that will just be a natural outflow for people because of that shared interest.
Dawn Mountain offers traditional Buddhist teachings primarily in the Tibetan tradition in a way that is accessible to contemporary Americans. Having studied and practiced for many years under recognized Tibetan masters, and understanding that these teachings provide a way to realize the natural state of mind that embodies profound wisdom and deep love, Anne Klein and Harvey Aronson wished to share these traditions here in the United States. As a result, they established Dawn Mountain in June 1996, based on the core belief that it is possible to cultivate a better understanding of our deepest nature, which in turn facilitates new levels of mental calm and self-acceptance.
So our inspiration really comes from our love and gratitude to our own teachers. They spent so much time and care with us over many, many years.
Khetsen Rinpoche was extraordinarily compassionate. He had a terrific sense of humor. And just his ability to be present and immediate and just there. Adzom Rinpoche is extraordinarily compassionate and grounded.
And we've had extraordinary experiences with Adzom Rinpoche, whom I met in Tibet in 96. And I've had many, 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 many hours of just, one-on-one conversation, a person who has tens of thousands of students to attend to. Okay, there's this wealth of cultural wisdom in Tibet. It's encoded in texts, in practices, in rituals, in art, And many people in the West are attracted to it, and yet Westerners are Westerners. We're Westerners. We're not monastics. We may dedicate our lives to practice in our heart of hearts, but we have families, we have jobs, we have all kinds of responsibilities. So how can we communicate and really experience transformation through these practices? For that, some kind of bridging is necessary. We're also a community center, nonprofit community center, which is the hub of our work extending life skills, the life skills of cultivating calm, of cultivating ease in life, of cultivating kindness.
What did you do today that you liked?
Make the glittery thing to show your anger.
And what happened when you shook up the glittery thing?
It made me feel a little bit like I wanted to meditate in peace.
And then the Research Institute is where we look at what we can provide by way of information gained through research for the interested public. So we've mentioned that our own teachings here, which are drawn from work that we've done, our own translation work, our own study, and so forth, some of these will start appearing as pamphlets for practitioners here, and some of them will become books that will be published and will be widely available to the larger public. And I am right now in the process of gathering a team to translate a text from this tradition, which he powerfully feels, and which I also have a very, very strong wish to see translated. And we hope to do more of that. We've seen people telling us how their lives have changed, how their lives are improved, the comfort, the inspiration that they feel coming to Dawn Mountain. We really are inspired to envision a way that Dawn Mountain becomes a stable beacon and place of gathering for people who wish to practice at whatever level.
I trust the teachings I feel in.
Okay, so we're back. So this is a point where we'll settle back down just for a very brief minute. Settle back into feeling a little calmer with our breath. And then from there we will, we're a little over time. So we'll reset a little bit, and I'll read the names in dedication, and we'll also read the blessing as well here, just to kind of mark the end of our time. It's on the bottom of this laminated sheet. It says blessing. There's two sides, but it's the one that has two columns. So we'll settle here. Find a comfortable sitting posture. Let go of breathing any particular way. And let your mind rest, feeling your breath come in and go out. So you can also bring to mind, now that we've evoked this, the feeling of the earlier practice, just think about how you want to, how you wish that this time we've spent together will be helpful for you, helpful for people in your life, or even others that aren't directly in your life. If the practice itself or certain parts of this time together are meaningful to you, you can take it into your day. We encourage you to take some time to do this every day if it's meaningful to you. That it can benefit you every day and everyone else in some way as well. So to mark that, and we usually in Buddhism think of benefiting ourselves and others directly and indirectly, we'll read the blessing, we'll sing this together, and we'll light a candle, a physical candle as a token of that offering. With all of you in mind, we light this lamp of clarity. May the glow of love, wisdom shine within us, everyone, till we all rise forth born in one enlightened mandala. We also, in particular, think of not just ourselves and all beings everywhere, but today we think of Jed for health, Sarah, Mary W., Mary Y., teachers for travel, my aunt Aruna, Siddharth, Vasudha, Palash, Miss Mo, Lulu, Alyssa Ray, Carol Ray, David Lejeune, Era, Chad, Adam, my family, animals, Harvard, Peter, Anthony and Jean Larson, Linda for hip fracture, Cheryl, Maria's mother in the Bardo, Rodrigo Hernandez, Jewel Trimble, Bardo and family, Bobby in the Bardo, Babith Van Loo, Charlotte S., Miriam Cypress, Karen B., Art H., released from prison, Sharon J. and family, Vatana, Alice, Runyon, all children living in fear, all children that are suffering, Camachos, Mike and Beto, children separated from parents, Charles Lowry and the Bardo, Justin Adams for healing, Ava, and Jose Martinez for blessing, Justin Townley, Hitish Natani in the Bardo, Natasha Natani, Audrey Fisher, Desiree Sarver, my daughters Ashley, Brittany, my friend Daisy, my co-worker at GPNC, residents at Senecor, Caitlin, Nick, Luis Silva, Guillermo Silva, Christian Montero, Gabriel Silva, Lucas Silva, Mauricio Silva, Felipe Silva, Vanessa Maura, Larissa Montero, Jose Montero, Paulo Montero, Mario Rufino, Doris, Louvel, Bobby, Dave Johnson, Luann Novak, Emma, Tom Anthony, Gerard Curry, Selwa, Jean Eberhardt, Bobby, Pain, Suffering, and Easy Passing, our broadcasters, all suffering children, Warren in the Bardo, Elaine, Scott, Jennifer, Jasper, Evelyn, Michael, and Aaron. And usually at this point, we chant one ah all together. It's a heart-opening sound that we say from our depths, from our true meaning, our stability. We offer it. We send out light to ourselves. We share it all together like a big party, and we share it with the world outside. So we'll say one ah to go through all that, sending out this light for us, for ourselves, for everyone. We're dancing in light. So thank you all for coming. This is also, we've made you pristine and calm, and we usually have our announcements right now at the end of this time. Is Mary Scott here? I know she is here somewhere. Maybe not. I'll do my best. We have our Summer Teaching Tuesdays series. Harvey, myself, and Claire have been endeavoring to explore motivation and practice, since we got to be motivated to come back. Otherwise, we've fallen to our normal enjoying our martini and movie at night. So we'll be talking about looking at suffering and talking about looking at the realms of suffering. There's kind of a traditional ways of talking about in Buddhism, and talking about looking at different ways that we suffer and how we can feel motivated, and how we deal with when we don't feel motivated by looking at suffering. And Claire will be our leader, and I'll be along for the ride. What else? I can't think of anything else on the top of my head. Practice Tuesdays. So you can always reliably come on a Tuesday around 7 p.m. There will either be on the first and third Tuesdays a teaching event, but on the second and fourth we also have open practice time together. We create a frame of opening and closing with prayers and a little bit of chanting, and then we leave space for everyone to bring their own practice, so to be with each other, to do whatever is meaningful to them. That's also at 7. Man, I feel like there's more to say. You can always check out our website. If you want to join the mailing list so that you can be reminded without me about things, please do. And of course, we're a nonprofit, and we're surviving. But if you feel motivated to practice generosity in some way, there is ways to donate. I think in a bowl on the way out, or talk with Jerry if she's still up front. It was a pleasure getting to see everyone today. Thank you for putting up with me. Hopefully there was something meaningful that you can take away today. It's good to meet some new people too. So thanks for coming.